So it's something that I bug people about every single day. I've been writing about it for 20 years. I drastically declined. And everything that I knew about health and wellness just went out of the window. I had to retrain myself to write again. I couldn't remember how to do that.
Thank you so much for tuning in again to another episode of the Health Movement Podcast. April is an amazing guest who went through some pretty crazy stuff. Her story is definitely one that you want to listen to. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Health Movement Podcast. I am Derek, your host. I have an awesome guest with us today, but before I introduce her, I just want to reiterate that we are not doctors. So before you go changing any programming or any lifestyle changes, please consult with your physician. All right. So without any further ado, I have with me April Kahn, who specializes in mental health and addiction recovery, health content strategy consultant, and president of the Good Agency, and actually a whole lot more, but we'll just leave it at that. April, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank
Oh,
you.
it's my pleasure. And there's a lot of different places I guess we could start, but
Yeah.
where would you like to start? I don't want to throw it to you. And what's a good beginning for you to start with?
Well, I'm really passionate about health and wellness. So it's something that I bug people about every single day, whether
That's a
it's,
good thing to do.
yeah, I have to. I'm just one of those people. I write about it. I've been writing about it for 20 years. So I kind of feel like I have to live it. Or, it's kind of weird to have it as a profession and not live it. I just feel like
Exactly.
I need to practice what I preach. So um, I feel like the last time I really had to check myself about this was when I had COVID. I think I was telling you not too long ago. It was really bad. I thought I was going to be one of those people that just got it like a flu and then I'd be fine. And it was not like that. I drastically declined. And like everything that I knew about health and wellness just went out of the window. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't do anything. Like literally, I had to retrain myself to write again. I
Yeah, I
couldn't remember
remember
how to do that.
talking to you about it, and it was,
Yeah.
as we were going back and forth, crazy story. And I don't know, either I was asymptomatic or I somehow got lucky and never got it. But I
Mhm.
hear all these different stories of losing senses, but I've never
Oh,
heard
yeah.
somebody getting hit or having the reaction that you did. Can you kind of go through the effect it had on you?
Sure. Actually, a lot of us ended up getting it. We were in a place where we were still being separated. Like there could only be 6 people at a table in the restaurant. You were still eating outdoors. So I think we all kind of let our guard down a little bit. We were in New York City. It was right in the epicenter. And the numbers started going down. So we just thought, okay, 6 of us will meet outside, we'll be fine. When I first got sick, I think I just had a fever. And then I noticed I had this feeling in my throat and it wasn't going away. And I was like, uh-oh, I think I might have COVID. And then a COVID tracer called me because my friend had tested positive and they started calling
Oh,
all of us. And I was like, oh no, I was terrified. I had anxiety through the roof. I could not sleep. I had 103 fevers every single day.
wow.
Um, my oxygen started declining, and pretty soon I got to a point where my oxygen was at 92. But because of where I lived, there was no oxygen available. So I knew if I needed it, I wasn't going to be able to get it because all the hospitals were inundated.
Mm.
So I had to drive from where I was in Brooklyn, New York to Buffalo, New York, which was almost 7 hours away. And I remember I just got lost in the mountains. I take that trip a lot, but for some reason I couldn't remember where I was going. And I kept missing the exit and going around and around. But by the time I got up there, my oxygen had dropped all the way down to 80. And then I was
Wow.
admitted when it was 78. So I
Oh,
had double pneumonia. I couldn't breathe properly at all. They had to give me oxygen, and I was on oxygen for the whole entire time I was in a hospital and after they released me. So I was diagnosed with chronic respiratory failure. At the time, it was acute, which just means my lungs stopped working. I had hypoxia, airways disease. I had what they call viral dementia, which was just, I guess, the lack of oxygen to my brain caused me to have temporary memory loss, and I couldn't walk. So I was using a walker and I couldn't drive anymore. I just forgot how to drive. So it was
Wow.
really, really bad. Really bad. I lost 40 pounds. They put me on steroids, and then I ballooned all the way back up and beyond because of the steroids.
Mm,
So, yeah, once I started to get better, it took probably 3 months for the COVID test to come back negative.
wow.
So it took a very, very long time, but I started to focus on my mental wellness after that, and I realized if I didn't do that, I wasn't gonna heal. I wouldn't have come off the oxygen.
So that was 3 months or so, you said, until you got
Yeah,
the clean bill of health?
yes, and I couldn't see any specialist or go to any doctor's appointments because they required you to have a negative COVID test, and
Oh,
because my COVID test was positive, I couldn't get the help I needed because I
that
couldn't see
seems
any doctors.
kinda counterproductive there.
Yeah. It took me about 5 months to get a lung doctor.
Jeez. How
Yeah, it was
long did the dementia of is viral dementia, is that what it was called?
That's what the doctor kinda not really a medical term, it's just dementia, but he likened it to probably the virus doing some
Mm.
brain damage. I had that from 2021 July when I first got COVID, all the way until 2022, around the same time, and that is the point where I started to do cognitive behavioral therapy, and
Oh,
that helped out a lot, a whole lot, and I retrained myself on writing. So from there, I think I got the confidence to to get better and to
yeah.
reapproach my diet. I realized like a lot of things changed. So the way I looked changed. I was looking at my face and I was like, "Oh my god, my face is so round now because of the steroids and the
Mm.
oxygen." And it was a hard mental hurdle looking at yourself but not seeing yourself,
Yeah.
and I really went through it bad with that PTSD, depression. Um, and I had to get help for that first so that I could have the confidence to go, "Okay, I'll go to the gym. I'll try," or I have to eat different now. I can't eat like I did before. I have to follow a special diet because I'm on all these medications.
Mm.
So it was very, very difficult. It took me 3 years to be able to walk a mile. I just I did a 5K last year. That was the first time I walked a long distance since 2021.
Wow.
Yeah.
Usually I try to, figure out what people's why are for their motivation and everything like that. I'm assuming this is a big part of why you're so focused on health and everything else. It sounds like you were even before that, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, you've been doing this writing about this for 20 years,
Yes. I'm an
so
author.
it's always been important. But
Yes.
did this shift your view or maybe the way you looked at things or attacked, the issue of health in America?
I think it did. I started joining these online COVID groups for people who had long COVID, which is what I got diagnosed with at the end. Is called post-COVID syndrome.
Mm,
It just means there's a lot of symptoms we can't figure out why you have them anymore, but it's probably COVID, and that's it. There's no treatment for it. At the time, there wasn't.
yeah.
And there weren't even any trials of anything. So I joined these groups and I was just reading what people were saying and they were so hopeless. They were like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna be on oxygen forever. It's been a
Yeah.
year," or, "Well, I can't smell my child. I can't hug my husband. I don't have feeling in my fingers." Or one lady had her leg amputated from
Wow.
the complications of COVID, and she was going through a lot, and I just saw all of these people who felt like they had no answers and they were never gonna get better. So I thought if I come into the group and I'm like, "That's it, you guys. Stop feeling for sorry for yourself. We're all gonna get better. Like, I'm gonna show you." And then I started going out and failing. Like, I
You
went
got
to
to though.
I went to a cardiac rehab just to learn how to walk and do my things properly. And
Yeah.
there were people in there in their 80s who just had heart attacks, and they're, like, walking around the lab and I barely got 30 seconds in, and my watch was warning me that my heart rate was too high, and I
Wow.
had to sit down, and I would just cry, and I felt like, "Oh, I failed. Am I ever gonna be able to walk again?" And I was like, "No, I don't wanna sound like these people in the group. I've gotta give them hope." So, my why really was, I need to get better to show them that they could get better,
That's amazing.
because showing them articles doesn't touch them, I have to show them someone intimately now.
Yeah.
They've gotten better. They listened to the advice and they got better. So, if you listen to the advice, you'll get better. And so, even if it's just 10%, it's better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that was
that's a
my
good way
why.
to look at it because a lot of
Yeah.
people will be like, "I can't do everything I used to do," but it's like you can still do a heck of a lot more than you could have
Oh
beforehand.
gosh,
So,
yeah.
the life's different, but it doesn't mean it's bad,
That's true.
and that's, oh, that's a very unselfish approach, and a lot of people would be like, "I wanna get better so I can do this and I can experience this,"
Yeah.
and your focus was like, "No, I need to show these people that there's a reason to work and to push yourselves and not give up is
Yeah.
because I was able to do it and I did it so that I could help you along the way too." That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome, April.
Thank you.
It reminds me, I had a friend on, um, who was a trainer, and she was trying to help a woman lose weight, and they
Mhm.
were doing everything and nothing seemed to work, and she couldn't figure it out, and it was maybe 30 pounds the woman wanted to lose, so the trainer put on 30 pounds so that then
Oh,
she could
yeah.
lose it with her so that
Yeah.
she could kind of experience, and it was a life-changing experience for her because she was like, she did fitness competitions, got on stage in a bikini and all that, and
What
that
I'm
was
trying
kind
to
of
do. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. There you go. But it was an eye-opening experience, but it's so unselfish. Um,
Yes.
and I think the more we can do for the good of other people, the
Yeah.
better off everybody's situation is.
I agree 100%. I was watching, actually, that's a show called, I don't like the title, but it's called Fat to Fit, and it's a fit
Ah,
to fat to fit, and it's,
yes.
all these trainers that, like, they're in such good shape, and they gain all this weight, and then they realize how hard it is to do these exercises and to
Mm.
follow a diet. Your hormones change, your ability to do exercise changes, you become deconditioned, and it is really hard. And it's
Oh,
good that
yeah.
they have that show, because then they understand mentally what these people are going through.
The mental piece is the hardest because it's
Yeah,
so easy to and, I'm not saying, like, you have to be perfect all the time, you're not going to be, and you shouldn't be, like,
right.
enjoy the spoils of a good life from time to time, that's
Yeah.
fine, but there's so many times where, like, you're trying to either lose weight or get in shape, whatever it happens to be, and you slip up, you're like, "Oh, I had a piece of cake," and you feel guilty, and you're like, "Screw it, I'm finishing the whole thing, like, let's go, like, it's already
Yeah.
wasted, I'm diving in," and but the mental piece is so difficult, and that goes with anything, like, if you're trying to start a
Yes.
business, the first setback that happens, you get that imposter syndrome, and you're like, "Ah, I can't like, who am I? I can't do this. Like, look at what
Yeah.
happened." Instead of focusing on, if you go through a week, I don't know, you do 5 meals a day for a week, that's 35 meals, and you mess up
Oh, yeah.
2 of the meals, you've still done 33 of them correctly, but we don't
Exactly.
focus on that.
Yes.
There was a I love sports, big basketball fan, and there was a player who was doing horribly, excuse me, I think
Yeah.
they were 0 for 9 shooting first half, and the kid was like, "Nope, I don't have it, like, I'm
Wow.
awful." The coach was like, "How long did it take you to shoot those 9 shots?" Kid's like, "I don't know, maybe 20 seconds," and he goes, "So for the other" I don't know if they were 12-minute quarters or whatever, but for the other, 23 minutes and 40 seconds, you're gonna let those 20 seconds ruin everything else? Like, focus
Right.
on the positives and what you've been able to do."
Right.
So that's awesome. So that was the first 5K was last year or the year before?
The first 5K was in 2025. The year before, I was finally able to get on an indoor cycle for 30
Okay.
seconds. And that's because someone believed in me. I was having a hard time. I was trying, but I was having a hard time. But I had a dietitian that believed in me, and there was a man who owned a boxing studio, and I went in because I wanted to learn Krav Maga.
Oh,
And mind
jeez.
you
That's
and mind you,
Wait,
I'm
first of
still
all,
at a
before
point
you
where I
go any
can't.
further, before you got to explain to people what Krav Maga is, and that's the martial arts you picked. I love it. I love it.
So Krav Maga, I was obsessed with it for okay, my weird dream was to be a female MMA fighter,
Oh, awesome.
and and also I wanted to get into Krav Maga. So I used to watch these men from various backgrounds learn this fighting style. And apparently it was developed because of a lack of weapons that one army had, and another army had multiple weapons. And it's a way to pretty much not only defend yourself, but to get a weapon off of a person if you have to.
Yeah.
And that is the last stitch effort. You can't get away, and that's the only option you have. And I mean, the movements are so quick. I
And they're
saw,
they're decisive and
oh God,
purposeful. Like, you're not there to elongate a fight. It's like,
no,
"I'm ending this
oh,
now." Like, I'll do everything to
exactly.
prevent it and avoid it, but once you cross that line,
Oh gosh.
you're in trouble.
I mean, I saw a guy, they had like these fake knives because it's all set up like a studio. There's ATM machines, a fake store. Someone jumps out on you from the store with a knife, and you're like, oh no, what do I do? And for me, my problem was I would freeze in
Mm,
situations where I should respond. I just freeze, and I wanted to get over that freeze response. So that was
that's a
part of the
great way
reason
to
I
do
I
it,
wanted
yeah.
to do that. And
I
because
love that.
I was handicapped at the time,
Yep.
I really needed to learn how to defend myself in case I
Yeah.
can't run, you know,
Oh,
so
that's true.
that guy, I saw him disarm people so quickly, I couldn't even figure out how he did it. He was just like, the next thing you know, he has the knife. And I was like, wow. But the guy, he had so much faith in me. He said, I'm gonna sign you up to everything we offer here: Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, Muay Thai, Krav Maga, and boxing. I'm like, "You do know I can't breathe. I'm gonna be in here with an oxygen tank, right?" And he was like, "It's okay." So the first day they had me, I don't know if you're familiar with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yep.
Okay, so you know what shrimping is?
That I don't know. I've seen there's a
Oh,
studio in the gym I go to, so I see it, I've watched MMA, but I guess not that familiar.
okay, well, shrimping is, like, pretty much the first thing they teach you, where you're literally on your back on the floor, scooting like a
Oh, yep,
shrimp, like,
yep.
across the floor. And I'm like, "How is this gonna help me defend myself?" It's sort of like, what's that movie, Karate Kid, the
Yeah.
wax on, wax off. You're
Oh,
like, "How
yeah.
is this helping me?" But, he goes, "It's gonna help you because you can drop and get away."
Mm.
It's literally to drop and get away. I couldn't even do it 5 feet. I couldn't shrimp for 5 feet. I was getting heart palpitations, I couldn't breathe, and then I would start having a panic attack because my heart's going crazy. And they
Yeah.
would walk over to me and they're like, "You're okay, April, but let me remind you, there's a man with a knife and he's after you and you gotta get away." And there's
Oh,
this guy with
man.
this fake plastic knife. And I'm like, "Okay." So, but they believed in me and they broke me out of my comfort zone, and
I
that's the
think
most important thing.
I think having people like the sign of a true friend is going to look at you and push you when you're
Oh, yeah.
maybe staying in your comfort zone and you're scared to do something, but they see more in you. And they're
Yeah.
willing to call you out on it, which isn't always easy to do, nor is it easy to hear. But the
Yes.
ones who say, "Oh, it's okay, take your time, do the," you wouldn't have been here, or maybe eventually, but you wouldn't have
Yeah.
gotten as quickly as you have without them pushing you.
Yeah,
That's a
I believe
that
that.
that's a great instructor you have right there.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was nice. I loved him so much. He's the one that encouraged me to make a goal to get off the oxygen because,
ugh,
the doctors pretty much didn't know if I would ever get off or not. Um, and I was like, "Oh, man, I don't wanna be on oxygen forever. Like, how am I gonna do my job? How am I gonna travel? How am I gonna
mm,
do anything?" And he goes, "You know, I think you need to make a goal, something that's health focused, to get your mind off of the oxygen and more onto your health." And I said, "You know, I wanna be a bodybuilder."
mm.
And he looked at me and he was like, "Okay, like, if that's what you wanna do." And I was like,
He
"Yeah,"
didn't
like,
expect that one, but yeah.
so he was like, "Okay, why do you wanna do that?" I said, "'Cause then I will have to focus on my food, and I'll have to
Mm.
focus on working out. I won't be able to not focus on it. It will become my life." And ever since then, I think about a month later, I came off the oxygen. I came off all the steroids. I was able to lift weights. I was going to the gym every week, multiple times a week. And after that, I got a coach, like someone who just volunteered. He's a trainer. And he saw me working out, and I had my oxygen in a little bag when I first
Oh,
started. And he goes, "I'm going to help you." And came off the oxygen. He's been next to me ever since helping me.
oh,
So
that's
he's like,
awesome.
"Come on, team ultimate con. We have to do we have to do a bodybuilding
Oh,
competition this year."
I
So
love that.
yeah.
When's the have you signed up for the competition?
I wanna do one in October, but I wanted
Okay.
to make sure that I'm ready, you know? I don't wanna get up there and, like, just be mediocre because they have, competitions where you don't have to be ready. You just show that you've
Mhm. Yep.
transformed your body and you get an award. And he's like, "Nah, you're just gonna win for no reason. I want you to work for it. Like, get even if
Yeah.
you're 5th place, I want you to work for it and get placed."
Yeah,
So,
because then that's
yeah,
what you earned as opposed to just
exactly.
yeah,
And
and I
it's
mean, a
hard.
body transformation can be really important and that
Yeah,
can be something somebody earns, but sounds
yeah.
like you have your sights set on something different.
Yeah, I just wanna be healthy. That's my
Yeah.
thing. I'm going into, um, a healthy category. I'm not gonna go into, like, figure or wellness. Not that it's not healthy, but you have to really bulk up, and I
E
just wanna be lean and healthy.
Yeah. Those last few weeks, I've had some guests on the show, and it doesn't sound like you get a week there where you are not eating much, and it's cutting
Oh, yeah, you
water and doing all that,
cutting.
and then filling up with Skittles the day of to make sure the veins are popping. It's
Yeah, see,
yeah.
I don't wanna do that because my body's been through so much already.
Yeah. No,
I
that's
just wanna
smart of
feel
you.
it.
That's really
Yeah,
smart of
and
you.
I like cycling and stuff, so I can't put on too much muscle.
No, 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 I got you, I got you. That's awesome. I love, though, your reason for it. It wasn't like it wasn't just out of the blue. That's a well thought reason. Like, if this is what I'm going to be, this is what I'm like, this is
Yeah,
what I'm going to become. I can't do that unless I'm eating a certain way. I'm tracking
exactly.
food. I'm lifting weights, and a lot of people, not to be stereotypical, but
Yeah.
more women than men are afraid to lift weights because they don't want to get too bulky, or
Oh,
they
that
worry
takes
about that.
forever to happen.
Yeah, and you gotta eat. You gotta eat a lot and lift a
Yes.
certain way, and it's like, you can ask any guy and he's like, "Yeah, I wanna get huge." It doesn't happen. Like, there aren't many guys walking
No,
around
only
full of
through
muscle.
controversial means.
Yeah. Oh, I wish it was
I
that
learned all
easy.
about that. No, I
Well,
just, a lot of women were telling me that they were afraid to get bulky, and I
yeah.
said, "This is for longevity." Like, I'm 45. I read a lot about longevity and rejuvenation, and I'm like, "We have to move it or we lose it. We have to strengthen
Mm.
our muscles so you don't get injured." Like, there's a lot to working out, improving your flexibility, your balance over time. So, these are things really that we should be doing, even if you're already healthy, but especially if you're not healthy. Like, you don't wanna muscle wastage is probably one of the one of the most difficult things I've had to deal with. I lost, I believe the doctor said 14 pounds of muscle
Wow.
when I was sick, and he said, "You have to gain it back." I kept injuring myself because my muscles were so weak.
Mm.
So I had to build them up, and even then, with the bulking, cutting, I still didn't get, like, these big China,
No.
that show
Y
called, China, the wrestler
the
China?
wrestler, yeah,
She
yeah,
was
yeah.
on Xena Warrior Princess.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not gonna look like that.
No,
Like,
gosh, no. I
it's
haven't
gonna
seen
come
many looking like her. That's a lot of
no,
work, and
you
maybe a
have to do
little
extra things.
maybe yeah, a little help on the side. Yeah, you gotta search that out there. We're not gonna
Yeah,
make too
see,
many
no,
assumptions, but
no, I wanna push health and wellness. All this did was make me fall more in love with health and wellness. The
and
addiction
it's
side is something different, that I'm passionate about, but the
yeah.
health and wellness as a whole, this just made me fall back in love with it.
Sorry for the interruption, but we are only 13 subscribers away from 500. Might not seem like a big deal to some people, but this is still kind of surreal to me that people actually listen to what we have to say on here. It's pretty cool. So if you would consider subscribing, or sharing the channel with somebody else who you think would benefit. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Back to the show. So the people you were in that, was it like a Facebook group for people who had dealt with, more
Yes.
severe COVID? So have you stayed in touch with them? Have you seen people in their success stories as well?
Oh, yeah. I stayed in touch with 3 of the women from the group. Over time, it kind of I guess people weren't as active in it
Yeah,
anymore,
understandably.
because yeah, people don't wanna be reminded, I guess, of
Yeah.
so they just stopped coming in, but, 3 women I know of for sure that I'm still in contact with, they go to these groups still to today, under Catholic Health. They have these COVID meetups where
Yep.
people who have post-COVID can come together, talk about what struggles they're having. Other people can kinda share what they've done. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous, but for
Yeah,
people with
it's the
COVID.
same idea, yeah. But
Yeah, it's
that
like
can be helpful, that community piece is huge.
yeah, and one thing that people weren't focusing on through all of this was the amount of people who developed addictions because of COVID.
Oh, because you
So and I mean, it's heartbreaking, like, the stories I would read. And I'm like, these are people who are trying to cope with something that happened so suddenly, like an amputation.
mm,
Nobody wants that. And if it happens, you don't get a whole lot of notice in advance that it's going to happen for
yeah,
you to mentally prepare. And there's no amount of mental preparation. You still are going to lose a limb.
yeah,
And, people started it starts with, being addicted to, like, the medication, the pain medication. Some people get addicted to the steroids, and they don't wanna come off the steroids because they feel weird, and they go back onto the steroids,
mm,
and then they just keep diving deeper and deeper until next thing you know, they're abusing opiates, and then alcohol, and then both together, and it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't know how to deal with this, like, as far as, like, medical professionals.
yeah.
They're just like, "Well, you need to stop using it, or you need to go to a
I love
rehab."
the yeah, don't worry, just stop worrying. Oh, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
advice
or
that's never worked, ever.
yeah, or go to rehab, and it's like, I'm sure they want to. I'm
Yeah,
sure they wanna stop, but there are withdrawal symptoms. It hurts them to stop,
yeah,
They have horrible things that happen to them when they stop, so they don't know how to stop. They're in this constant cycle, so I more or less kept in touch with one of those women because she was going through addiction.
mm,
And I write for a lot of addiction clinics, so I would always send her over things. If I wrote something, I'm like, "Here, have a look at this. These are some ways that you can when you go out of town this week for 4th of July, you won't fall into the trap of drinking. Like, here's some ways to
yeah.
avoid doing that. Or here's
Oh, that's
sober
awesome.
bars in your area." You know?
Yeah. Oh,
I
that's
think they
I
just need resources.
they do, and I think when you're talking about, like, the immediate changes that people would have to go through, like the losing a limb, and it's the identity shift, and no, the
Yeah.
person you are doesn't have to change, but you're not the same as you were before, and it's you can't hold on to the way things used to be, and I think this is a lot with grief and so many difficulties is that life is over at this point in
Yeah.
time, and you have to develop something new. It
Yeah.
you don't wanna think of it maybe as better or worse than the previous, it's different.
It
And
is different, yeah.
yeah, and there will be things that are better and things that are worse, but it's not I think people get so fixated on, I miss this," or "I don't have this anymore."
Yeah,
And
right.
it's yeah, that's true, but you also have this now, and you have this now, and so it's difficult to build that new identity, and I think
It is.
it's
You need
tough.
support.
You do, you need people to
Yeah.
help you and be there with you, and if,
Yeah.
you don't realize that's coming or you don't know how to deal with it,
Yeah.
sometimes the substances are the easiest, quickest solution to kinda numb that pain, which is, that's sad.
Right.
Um,
Yes, yeah.
so you focus on mental health and addiction recovery, and I'm getting the sense you do a lot of writing, and I'm glad you're able to do that again
Yeah.
because that
Yeah,
would have been that
finally.
20 years and that would have been tough. Um,
Oh, yeah.
what is it therapeutic for you as well in your writing, in the things you put
Yeah.
down?
I like helping people. I've been like that my whole life. I don't know if when you go on my LinkedIn page, I have a story there that about when I was 8 and I was trying to teach this man how to like read in English and just so I could talk to him.
Oh.
He would be out with his son all the time and he couldn't understand a word I was saying. And I was just so wanting this man to understand what I was saying that I wanted to teach him how to read English. So like I've been like that my entire life. But as I got older, I learned where my strength was. You can't help everyone do everything.
That's true.
So I segued over to health and wellness, but then I started seeing how people with addiction have like all these layers of problems, dual diagnoses, mental health issues that lead to the addictions or stem from the addictions. So they get help in one area, not the other, and then they go back to addiction. And I thought, I need to read more about that. I need to figure out why that's happening. And from there, I just started writing a lot. I took all these classes. I went to school and, I worked in the hospitals for years and I saw how people need kind of both services.
Mm,
And sometimes they're only really getting one. Like people who have, let's say, an opiate addiction. Back then, they used to just give them some sort of medication to help them avoid, the cravings and kind of help with the withdrawal process. But there was no therapy. So, the person who maybe their problem was they had undiagnosed depression,
yeah.
and that's what was triggering them to use. So, unless they are diagnosed and get treatment for the depression, they will just reuse again. And so, I started reading a lot about that, talking to people, asking questions. And, I knew people around me who I didn't know were on drugs because I didn't know the signs and symptoms of people being on drugs. And then I realized it and I'm like, "Oh, this person, they have an addiction issue. How do I talk to them about it?" And then I thought about how families must feel who have a
Mm,
family member who has an addiction and they don't know how to talk about it. So that's what really got me into the writing to break that stigma like, okay, you can talk about it, but here's how. You can get your loved one help, but here's how. Don't yell at them, don't shame them. Don't, they're a person first. They're not a drug addict. They're a person with an addiction.
yeah.
So that I just feel like I'm helping so many people in that way that it just makes my job rewarding.
That's
So
in
anything I'm doing to help other people.
and having purpose in what you're doing
Yeah.
makes it enjoyable. And,
Oh
it's like
yeah.
any other job. I'm sure you're exhausted some days and all that, but at the end of the day, there's a feeling of accomplishment and like we said, helping people. That's,
Right.
yeah, that I teach 10 and 11-year-olds, and it's, not to the same degree that you have, in terms of the some of the issues that you have to
Yeah.
help people through, but
Right.
I run into some years later and just the conversations and seeing who they've become and,
Right.
it feels good that you were able to, be there for them for at least a small
Yeah.
part of it, which is pretty cool.
Are they
Um
bugging you about Roblox or saying 6,
Oh.
7 or any of
Oh,
these tricks?
oh, I gotta warn you about 6'7" though, that is so
Oh, no.
2025, I'm
Oh
told.
my gosh.
Yeah. I have, like you do these things to get the kids to quiet down in class, and people
Yeah.
all have these different things, and they'll, like, 1, 2 eyes on you. I don't know, they have these things. So one of them
Oh
I
my
thought
gosh.
was I would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they'd all go 6, 7, and then
Oh
they'd
my
quiet
god.
down. So after
For this
vacation.
thing, they started doing
Oh,
this.
yeah. But after vacation, winter vacation, they came back in and I went to quiet down and they're like, "No, Mr. O, that was so 2025." I'm like, "That was a
Oh
week and
my
a half
gosh.
ago." So me being the
Wow.
supportive teacher I am, I only wanna do it more now. So
Yeah.
I have to know.
To
Yes,
embarrass them, right?
oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I'll throw the lingo out with the best of them, and
Oh,
so I get to level 10 cringe, I'm told. So
oh
I
my
know I'm
gosh.
doing my job if I've done
See,
that.
I Google it. I go on Google and I'll go and I'll tell my nephew, "I know everything you're saying." I went on
Yes.
TikTok and they told me and he's like, "TikTok, that's outdated." He thinks 1980 is ancient, so this is the same
Oh,
person.
yeah. Well, I saw something where if you like listening to Michael Jackson's Thriller, like somebody today listening to that album is the same as somebody when it came out in like 80, whatever, early 80s,
Right,
would be
right.
like listening to music that came out in the late 30s. I was like, that can't be
Whoa!
right. That
Are you
can't be
serious?
right. And then you do the math and yeah, it's pretty
See, I
close.
don't have kids, so I'm not, like, privy to all of this until I hear, like, my neighbors' kids talking. I'm like,
I
"What's 6,
got you.
7? Why are
Ah,
they doing this?"
yeah, that's yeah. I have to look some up though, because like Riz is like picking up
Oh, yeah.
women. I
Oh,
thought it was
yeah.
like you're charismatic and you've got a good
That's what I
personality.
thought.
Yeah, but I'm always like, I gotta look it up first. And then I look it up. I'm like, all right, I don't use that word because I, I don't want
Oh
to.
my
Yeah.
gosh. I was using Riz and my nephew started saying Sigma. Him and his friends would just run around saying Sigma all day. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "What is Sigma?" By the
Alpha,
time I look it
sigma,
up,
or
it's already
sigma,
outdated.
alpha. Yeah, they just
Oh,
come up
yeah.
with it. Oh god. All right, well,
It's
I wanna
fun.
put you on the spot really quickly if that's okay. We've done a lot of talk of mental health in things that people go through. What
Sure.
are 3 things that people or maybe family members or something like that where they see somebody struggling with mental health that can do? If I don't know if you have if, like, you can give me 3.
Okay. So the first thing I will say is if you don't know how to approach the person and like if they're not receptive, because some people they're not receptive to it because they haven't even accepted it.
Yeah.
There is actually, the National Alliance on Mental Illness called NAMI, NAMI. They actually have a hotline. They have a caregiver hotline. You can call it even if you're not a caregiver, if you're a family member. I would suggest calling that hotline and telling them I have a family member, they're struggling with addiction or they're struggling with, this health issue. They're blurting out things, hurting people's feelings. You know, uh, they've I don't know, they didn't come home today, they've been stealing things, anything. They will give you these are medical professionals on the line
Okay.
that you're speaking to, that licensed, credentialed. They will give you instructions on what to do.
Oh,
I
that's
would listen to them.
fantastic.
Yeah, they just opened this a few months back. I was in their webinar not too long ago, and they mentioned it, and I was shocked because there's never been anything like this for family members.
Yeah, I'll
So,
definitely
I was
put that
shocked.
information in the description so
Yeah.
people can and I'll try to find the phone number, I'm sure that's pretty easy to find, so I'll
Yeah.
throw all
Oh,
that in
yeah,
the
it's all
description.
over their website now. The other thing is a lot of people don't know about the 888 crisis line or, you can call it, you can text it, but what I would suggest doing, and I've made this suggestion to a lot of people, they have, sometimes little stickers or refrigerator magnets that you can get from, like, your local libraries and things, health departments. Take one of them and put them on the refrigerator. And if you feel like you can't talk to your family member because they'll get violent or maybe there's an impasse, they're just not
Yeah,
accepting what you're saying, at least that number is right there. They can see it. If they feel like they're in crisis, they can use it, but put it in a highly visible place so that way you don't have to say anything. And it's not
mhm.
like it's there because you want them to find it. It's just sort of there because it was a free magnet,
Yeah, I got you.
so it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like you're ambushing them.
Yeah.
And the third thing is, you always start off remembering this is a person
Mhm.
first. When you speak to them, hey, I'm really concerned about something. Not, I can't believe you did, and start attacking. Just, I really want to speak to you and I'm really concerned about something. I was wondering if you can help me and help me understand. And then you can talk to them about whatever it is. Try to write it down and keep it at one or two really important points. People tend to they have so many feelings when they're talking to the person that they start going off on 10 different things and then it becomes an argument or ambush. And a person who has an addiction, they didn't choose to have an addiction. They
Mhm.
may have chosen to drink or chosen to use a pill. They didn't choose to become addicted to it. So, blaming them is like saying they chose this, and addiction is a brain disease. So you have to understand that even if they don't want to do it, sometimes they feel like they don't have a choice. The withdrawal is too bad. Or
Mm.
they might be embarrassed. A lot of times they're embarrassed and they can't admit it.
Yeah.
So when you talk to them, just remember they're a person first. I'm concerned that maybe you're using something. I'm concerned that, your grades have fallen off. Is there something you want to talk to me about? And leave the floor open for them to talk and
Right,
listen. Do a lot more listening than talking, a lot more listening, but
right.
frame it as you're just concerned and you want them to help you understand. It's really hard to do,
Yeah, I imagine.
really
I
hard to do.
imagine.
It's
We've
really hard to do, but that's how you have to do it because any other way, it just stops the conversation before it starts, and you have to be in information gathering mode. Maybe they're being bullied. Maybe they're having a hard time at work. Maybe they feel stressed beyond belief
Yeah,
about something you didn't even know about. Some men, one of my friends actually committed suicide in 2015. She just had a baby. And 10 days after she had the baby, she was complaining that people were trying to take her baby away and they were trying to put her away. And nobody was doing that. But it was this delusion that she had and she couldn't get past that. And I told her husband, you need to take her to get help. Like you need to speak to somebody because I think she's going through postpartum depression.
yeah,
And, don't just think if she goes to bed, she'll be fine when she wakes up. Like, you need to actively be trying to help her with the baby. And not even 4 days later, she committed suicide.
wow.
And I just at that moment, I felt so helpless. Like, I could have done this, I could have done that, and I couldn't prevent it, and now I'm on it. I'm
Mm,
on it now. If I even hear someone and I think they're talking about that, I'm like, "Hey, let's talk." I
yeah,
don't care if it's 3 in the morning and I just got up and read this. Let's talk. You need someone to talk to me. I won't judge you. You want someone to talk to who's not me? Here's 888. Here's a
yeah.
suicide hotline. Like, people don't know these things exist, so they think they're by themselves. So this is something I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life.
You found your calling.
I
I think
did.
it's safe to say, and it's a hell of
Yeah.
a calling. So,
Yeah. Until
thank
I
you.
one day I'm big like you and I get a podcast.
Big like me. The tens of listeners will really tell you how big it
You're
is.
gonna become the next diary of a CEO. Mark my
Oh,
words.
that
Mark
would
my
be a
words.
dream come true.
It's gonna
I
happen.
love that. I love
It's
that
gonna
one.
happen.
Uh,
The universe is just giving you a slow takeoff so you can enjoy your free time.
I
But pretty
appreciate
soon you
that.
won't have any free time. You'll be a big shot. My little podcast is gonna be buried all the way at the end. You'll
No
be like,
way.
I
You're
remember
gonna
this
be the
person.
reason. You're gonna be the reason for it. I love it. I
Don't
love it.
worry, I'll be encouraging you.
I appreciate that, April. Well, April, thank you so much for taking the time to
Thank
hop on
you.
with me. I some of them I look up and I'm like, wow, we're 40 minutes into this and I didn't even realize it. So
I told
thank
you I
you.
talk a lot. I warned
No,
you.
you didn't. It was a good conversation and you're passionate about what you're talking about. You've definitely
Yeah.
got that charismatic, personality where it's just,
Thank you.
people feel at ease talking to you. So I
I
appreciate that.
appreciate that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
How can people get in touch with you if they wanna reach out or follow along with your
Yeah.
bodybuilding building journey there?
Yeah. So they can follow me on Instagram, April Khan CEO. That's Khan CEO. April Khan CEO on Instagram. And also I'm on LinkedIn a lot these days. So
Alright.
be
That's how I
professional.
found you on LinkedIn, but I'll put
Yeah.
both of those, in the show notes, and
Thank you.
I'll
Yeah.
follow you too as soon as we're done with the show, so,
Oh,
um
finally you'll follow me. Oh, I made it.
Oh, don't give me that. Don't give
6'7".
Oh, awesome, April. You are the best. Well,
Thank you. I
everybody
really appreciate you having me on. Seriously, this was fun.
Oh,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure, my pleasure. We'll have to have you on when you get, closer to the show too, and you can let us know
Sure.
how all that's going. So I'd love
That's
to
if
hear
you're not
about
a
that.
big shot yet and I have to go through your publicist
Oh,
or your
don't give me
manager.
that, April. Don't give me I'll send you my phone number, and you can just text me when you're close
Yes,
to it.
your
You're good.
secretarial answer. Go, he's busy.
Oh, man, you're giving me a
Thanks.
hard time here. I love it. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. April will continue to give me a hard time once we hit stop, so don't worry about
Bye,
it.
everyone.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.